Okay guys, hello and welcome back to Archangel RC. Occasionally I will make a slight deviation from planes, and today is one of those days. I have here the new King Kong 90 GT Micro Brushless Racing Copter, and I have to tell you right off the bat, this thing is seriously impressive for its size and battery, and I'm just stunned at how small these things are getting now. The copter comes fully assembled and ready for binding, and all you need to do is mount the props, bind it to your radio of choice. In my case that will be the FrSky Taranis X9D, but any FrSky radio will do. Charge the battery, though no charger is provided, so you will have to use your own, and you're ready to go flying. The model is equipped with 1103 7800 kV motors, 3-bladed 2030 props, which are pretty neat but do tend to go quickly once you start rolling around in the bushes, so I've included a link to some spare ones in the description below. ESC is 4-in-1 3 amp with the standard now BL Heli S that ships with pretty much everything, and the flight controller comes flashed with Betaflight and is ready to use. To make the copter work right away without having to connect it to a computer, you just need to set up 2 additional switches. Channel 5 should be a 2-way switch for arming, and channel 6 should be ideally a 3-way switch for the flight modes. Keep in mind that no air mode is set up by default. That's the one without any auto level functions. So if you want to use it, you will have to connect the 90 GT to a computer, run the Betaflight configurator and add air mode yourself. One thing that I found particularly interesting is that the copter came with a checklist in the box showing that somebody had done a pretty thorough check on the package contents, and if everything works on the copter, if that's real, I'm seriously impressed. Well done, King Kong, well done. There is also a color printed user manual which explains pretty well what you need to do to get the copter going, showing you a diagram of the prop installation, and lists the video channels available to you. Now, I have to mention that this model comes with a 16-channel video transmitter, which is a weird number of channels to have, especially considering there are models out there that have 72 channels in a very compact and light package, and yet this one, which also seems heavier, has only 16 channels. And as fate would have it, the channel I fly on was not one of the supported ones, and I really hate messing with the channels on my goggles. Luckily, my goggles have no problem picking up neighboring channels, so with the goggles at 5825 MHz and the copter at 5820 MHz, I was still able to fly quite comfortably out to 100-150 meters. So with very little needing to be done, the 90 GT can be literally set up at the flying field in 10 minutes or less, and you can be flying in no time. But just look at this. A few months ago, brushed in this size was the norm. Now, brushless in this size has become mainstream, and it's even getting smaller. And see how much smaller all of these are than the Falcon 120 at the back there. Simply stunning miniaturization. With everything set up and the battery charged, I was ready to tear the skies with this little beastie. 2S really does suit it well, although I would have loved to be able to try 3S. Sadly, the ESCs don't support it. And finally, here is the flight. I have to be honest, this flies better than I thought and does have quite the punch. It is small and wind tends to blow it away more easily than the Falcon, but it is quick and gains altitude very fast. Only downside is the camera is mounted level, so if you fly fast you'll see mostly ground. I did raise the angle a bit, so it was better and was able to pick up some good speed. The auto level modes are a bit docile, so I guess this was meant more for newbies than pros, especially considering the lack of 3S capability. But once you set up air mode and change a few settings, it could become a sharp action machine, although I have not done that and kept the settings stopped for the time being, and I definitely prefer to fly in air mode. The auto level modes just make it shake a bit too much and I tend to get dizzy. Once in the air, it is a blast to fly, and some more tuning will make it even more amazing. In reality, it does feel lighter and smaller in the air than the Falcon, but in terms of speed and agility, I'd say they're on par. The benefit of the smaller and higher kV motors is that you barely see any vibrations at any RPM range. The downside is that the camera's quality can in no way be compared to the Runcam Swift 2 I have mounted on the Falcon, or even the stock camera that was on the Falcon when I got it. But the camera on the 90 GT is super small and compact, so I will have to see if the Swift Mini is small enough to fit this frame. If not, possibly try the Swift Micro later down the line. So I had some great fun with this little beast, and I even got a 520 milliamp hour Gens Ace 2S battery for it. It is 10 grams heavier, but I can't say I can feel any sluggishness with it on, probably because it is able to hold its voltage higher and better than the stock 350 milliamp generic no brand name battery, and that probably compensates the added weight. I have a 2S 350 milliamp pack from Gens Ace on the way, so we'll see how that will compare with the stock one. Replacing those props is also not a big issue. With the Copter you get a spare set, and I did have to use one of the spare props. Just unscrew the bolts, remove the old, put on the new, screw them back on, and you're done. Best thing about this is that this prop will never unscrew in flight, and you don't have to deal with unbalanced prop adapters that bend easily in crashes. Overall, I'm quite happy with this thing. I've ordered a lot of spare props and a few extra batteries, and am planning to really get some mileage on it. I just hope I don't break it too much, as these things are a pain to repair and solder back together at this size, but at least it is great fun and super compact. This is certainly, at this time, my favorite racing copter at this size. The brushed ones just can't touch it. It's fast, it's tough, everything works perfectly, spare props are cheap, and there are spare parts available, so even if you break something, it's not a big deal to find it. This one is certainly worth its money, and I absolutely recommend it to anyone looking for something in the 90mm size class. That will be all from me at this time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find the links in the description below, and I would greatly appreciate the support should you decide to buy them via those same links. Also, feel invited to visit my new Facebook page, where you will find daily updates on what I'm doing and what is to come, as well as news and other drone related stuff. I wish you happy flying, and until next time.